Hi, I'm Melissa, editor of OWL. I'm speaking to 4 youth activists who are starring on a new TV show called CitizenKid. It's tackling one of the biggest problems our planet is facing right now, climate change. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. Before we get started, I was just wondering if everybody could introduce themselves and let us know how you're making positive change for the world.
So hi, I'm Hannah Alper, and I'm a blogger, motivational speaker, author, and activist, and I've been doing that since I was 9 years old, and I feel like I do good for the planet by motivating other people to recognize that they can do good for the planet.
So my name is Cooper, and I'm a youth activist in my community, so I focus a lot on political and environmental justice, and I would hope that I inspire other people around me to do the same and to act for their own selves.
Hi, I'm Sophia Mathur. I'm a youth climate activist, a lobbyist, a dancer, an artist, and a Fridays for Future organizer.
Hi, my name's Charlene Rocha, and I am also a youth activist, and I'm a striker, and I want to be an engineer when I'm older, so bringing women into the conversation is something that I'm really, really interested in.
So, Hannah, you've been campaigning for positive change since the age of 9 years old with your blog, Call Me Hannah, and now at the age of 17, you are a activist, you're a published author, you are on social media, you are an OWL advisory member. I just wanted to know what drew you to CitizenKid and what the viewers can expect from the show.
I really wanted to do CitizenKid because when I was 9 years old and when I started as a youth activist, there wasn't anything like it. And I feel like I always wished that there was something where I could look to older people or just young people in general that were making a difference, and where I could see on TV people changing the world for the better and people like me.
So Cooper, you've given passionate speeches at events, you've led walkouts, protests, rallies at your school when campaigning for change. These actions take a lot of confidence and motivation. Has that always come naturally to you?
I would say it's definitely hard sometimes to be confident enough to make a change, especially if other people aren't. And motivation can be a whole other thing. Sometimes it feels almost hopeless to even try to make a change. But I find for me that confidence, I just kind of have to have it when it comes to this stuff because, this is such a pressing issue. And if I'm not going to do something about it, I don't know that other people will in my community. And if I'm not going to step up, who will? So as for the motivation, I let my eco-anxiety fuel me. And that's something that I'm very open about on CitizenKid. I find that if this is such a big issue and we all have to make a difference and we're all so scared that we can let that be the motivator for our change.
So Sophia, you've been known to ask tough questions, some questions that people might have a hard time asking in order to stand up for what you believe in. What questions do you think kids should be asking right now?
I think that kids should be asking adults, why not? Why are we not taking action? Why are we not doing this now? They should be asking adults, what are you doing to protect my future? Because adults can't just sit around, watch the news, say, oh, that's a problem, and then just go on with their daily lives. They have to actually do something. They have to take action because now the youth are taking action. But it's not just the youth, it's the adults who have to do something.
So I have another question for you, Sophia. I know that you met Greta Thunberg. What was that like for you?
Meeting Greta, what she says is so powerful, and it really has an impact on politicians, and it really wants to make people take action. And so when I met her, I was like, oh my goodness, Greta, it's you. and I gave her a big hug, and I was like, it's such an honor to meet you.
Charlene, I wanted to talk to you about the speech you made for Fridays for Future. Right after that went viral. So how did it feel when you found out so many people, young and old, heard that speech?
So actually, that speech that went viral, I did completely on the spot. That was the first strike that I ever went to, the first Fridays for Future strike. And I was just so inspired by the people around me. Sophia was actually at that strike, but there were so many inspiring people, and I said, you know what, I need to say something too. So I tapped the lady on the shoulder and I was like, could I please say something? Please, please, please. So I just went. My sister was recording. A bunch of other people were recording. And later on, I saw, in my Explore page on social media, I just saw my face. And I was like, what is this? Because that video showed me that my voice was being heard and people genuinely cared about what I had to say and what these other young people were having to say. So it was just amazing. And since then, I have been going to Fridays for Future Strikes and I make speeches there too. And it's just been so inspiring to hear people chant and just really get loud and excited about it. Because climate change is an issue that people are emotional about. People want to make a noise about and really want to get their voices heard.
So Hannah, for some facing eco-anxiety, meaning worried about the environment and what they can do and feeling totally daunted by all of the news that we're hearing, what can they do about that to calm those nerves?
Eco-anxiety is such a real thing, but if you stay positive and you stay optimistic and you look towards the solutions and you look towards the young people that are fighting for them, then you can do that too. And always think, why not? Why not me? Why can't I make a difference? And the answer truly is that anyone can. And just keep thinking of the solutions and keep going back to those and to the people that are fighting for them. Keep finding your community and keep making a difference. Change really does start at home, and anyone can. And when we do that, the issues slowly start to become less and less daunting because the issues are actually going away.
Yeah, Hannah, I completely agree with what you said. The most important thing to know is that we are not alone, and that's definitely why it's so important to find those role models, and that's definitely what's keeping us motivated. And that's why CitizenKid is so amazing, because it shows us that not only in Canada, not only in Toronto, but also everywhere in the world, in Washington and Ottawa, people are fighting for this cause, and they care about what we have to say.
Something that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of people think that once you're in the movement, you can't take breaks. But if it gets hard and it's really hard with your eco-anxiety, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, okay, I am doing too much. I need to take some time, spend some time with my family. And yeah, I mean, you're allowed to take breaks because dealing with climate change and the climate crisis, it can be really hard sometimes.
So I have one more question for you guys. We've talked a lot about how small changes can lead to bigger ones. Can everyone tell us one small thing that everybody can do for this planet to make it a better one?
So when I talk to a lot of young people about how they're getting involved in the political system, they say, I can't. I'm not 18, I can't vote, there's nothing I can do. But one of the easiest small steps, actually bigger than you might think, one of the easiest actions you can take is getting involved in politics. And civics is so important in the fight against climate change because you are able to support political representatives who are fighting climate change and not ignoring the science, as Sophia was saying, in so many ways, even when you can't vote. So that includes canvassing and going to their offices and telling them how you feel, showing them your experience, and that's so valuable, and people often overlook that. So if there's one thing that people could do that they're not doing now, I would say go out and get involved in politics.
I would also mention that, politicians, they work for us, and that we're not just the future, but we're the present. We're the leaders of today and tomorrow, and we have to work to convince that the leaders in office right now that climate change matters, and that it matters to not just our future, but our present. And that's why we're fighting, and that's why we're sitting here with you today, because we care about climate change and because we're passionate, because it doesn't just affect us tomorrow and 20 years from now and 10 years from now. It affects us today, and it affects the entire world. And so that's why we're here. And just like Cooper was saying, I think that politicians, it's something that is really scary to talk to a politician sometimes, especially because they're older and all that kind of stuff. But something as simple as writing a letter, going to their office, or canvassing, like Cooper was saying, it can go such a long way because it shows that it's an issue that people that they work for, that it matters.
When I was 7 years old, I started lobbying politicians, talking to them about how we are in a climate emergency. The politicians were very surprised to see that I overcame fears and intimidations to come speak to politicians in humongous government buildings. But sooner or later they realized that I was there for my future, and they started to listen to me, and they started to feel empowered. And that ended up with Citizens Climate Lobby, the group I was lobbying with, changing the rules to allow more youth younger than 16 to lobby politicians officially. Something that I personally do is go out to strikes and rallies because the public needs to be educated. We are educating politicians, we are educating youth, but we also need to educate the public and make sure everyone knows that we're in a climate emergency. After we did all these strikes and rallies, the greater city of Sudbury, where I live, declared a climate emergency. So that shows that those sort of actions can actually make a difference.
One thing that I would say is I'm literally obsessed with thrifting. So like this sweater that I'm wearing right now is thrifted, my boots are thrifted, my entire closet's basically thrifted, because it's not only an amazing way to save the environment, but it's also something fun that we can do. And like we talk about this a lot in CitizenKid, but it's just small actions that really matter. And by thrifting, we know that making clothes not only wastes a lot of water, but we use our clothes and then throw them out after. Like if we grow out of something or anything like that, it goes into landfills. And that's something that is really damaging our planet. These giant landfills of garbage and the way that we're decomposing all of our things. So one of the things that I really think are important is thrifting, because you're reusing, you're making sure that things aren't going into the landfills, but it's also something fun and simple that you can do. And you're saving money too. So it's just, there's so many benefits to thrifting, and I think it's something that everyone can do in their own personal lives.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It was great talking to you.
Everyone can truly change the world.
Citizens of Earth!
Our first act of activism is to care.
And kids everywhere!
It can't be solved by one person or even by one school.
Join 4 special activists
Take action.
You got this, you are not alone. Let's make a difference.
as they take up a cause that affects us all.
Young people are the key to changing the minds of older people.
On a special World Environment Day mission.
We need everyone's help.
Citizen Kid, special event June 5th at 5:30 in the Zone.